In this video, you're going to learn all about sounds and what are some instructional ideas for incorporating sounds into a flip chart. I'm going to show you some samples of some flip chart pages made by teachers in the Hopkins School District. This one was made by Leslie Ullman in the ELL, and I'm not sure if you can tell this, but if you hover over the spaghetti, there are a bunch of letters layered underneath. And so as a teacher, her desire would be to pull out a letter randomly. And then a second thing that the students could do up at the board is they could hover over that matching letter at the top, which she has really turned into a sound button. So you click on it.
The F says, the F says, every letter makes a sound, the F says.
All right, and the students could work on that together, sing it in unison with her. So this is for early ELL students. In this example, the way that she did this, or how she linked that sound was probably something that she got on a CD, or maybe it was in her iTunes library, part of her ELL curriculum. And I'm going to go into design mode to show you that each of these objects here is really, it's a group. It is the rectangle and it is the text box, and you can tell that she's grouped these items together. But then ultimately what she did is she inserted a link. So insert a link to a file, and the file that she linked to was a sound file. I'll show you how to do that at the end, but that's how she set up this particular flip chart page. All right, another idea of how sounds have been used with the reading curriculum. There were a lot of digital both stories and songs that have come with that curriculum, and I think Teresa Van Bantavia in first grade did this one. But you can see the instruction, and then there are some supplemental songs that go with it. So we'll play a little bit of one of these.
Synonym, 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 synonym. Synonym, 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 synonym.
You see that I go to the top to this tool to stop all the sounds, but my preferences are also set up to show me the sound controller as a way of stopping and starting the sounds as well. Just so that you know, to get this sound controller, that is something that you would set up in your preferences. If you go under Active Inspire to Preferences, and then you go to, I've forgotten here, Tools. I'm going to close this and see if I can't find it. Oh, it's probably Multimedia. There it is. You can choose whether or not to have the sound controller show up when you play a sound. So that's how you do that. On this page made by Christine Revac Math at the high school, you have an opportunity to engage students with a sound, kind of just using it a bit as a timer. I can envision that students might be working together on this problem, and after a certain length of time, you'd want them to come together as a class and share what they learned or what they felt like was the answer to the overall question, which is, what is a fair price to charge to play this game? Maybe you wanted them to talk for about 2.5, 3 minutes. Well, you could insert a song from your iTunes library that would play at a low volume while the kids are talking together before they report back. Let me show you how you do that. You could do it as easily as going under the Insert menu to Media, meaning Multimedia, and then it brings up your Finder window. And on the Mac side, the easiest way to find things on your iTunes library is on the left-hand side to go under Media, choose Music, and pick from your iTunes library. So I'm going to pick a song here. I'm going to sort by alphabetically, and I'm going to pick a song here called Good to Be Me, and then I click Open. And what you get on your screen is you get a little icon with a speaker on it. I click on the icon, it starts playing the song. All right, I'm going to stop that song. I'm going to close the controller. One thing I just wanted to point out, because you could get annoyed by this, is I got a little bit frustrated because I was trying with a different song. So let me just show you a second song I could insert from my iTunes library. And this song, I think I bought it off of iTunes a couple years ago, and the one that I just showed you, Good to Be Me, is a more recent one. So I'm going to choose this one and click open. Well, you'll notice that this icon is a little bit different. Well, I learned that these are two slightly different types of audio files. And if I click on this one, it just brings out the sound controller, which I love. And if I click this one, it's actually going to launch iTunes, and it plays really out of iTunes and not from the Flipchart page. You can see when I click on it that iTunes is beginning to bounce here. Well, I was not a big fan of that. It's just something to be aware of, that different files may behave differently in a Flipchart. So let me quit out of iTunes here. Now, lastly, you might be a bit of a perfectionist and you don't think either of these icons are all that attractive. So I wanted to show you how you could use an icon or an image and link to audio. So I found, you're not going to find this in your resource browser because it is something I found on Google, and I deliberately put it in my own resource browser, but I thought it was a cool image. So I could attach an action to that. So with it selected, I can go to my action browser. This is too long of a list for me to look through, so I really just want to filter down to the media or multimedia actions. And now I only have 2 to choose from, which is great. So I'm going to choose the action called open a document or file. And then you have to denote which file you want to open it. In this case, it's the music file or the audio file. So I click on ... By the way, I can get to my music library here as well, but I kind of have to do a few more clicks that way. So that's why I like to go on the left-hand menu here. And then I can click on my header to sort alphabetically, and then I will go find that awesome song called Good to Be Me. I click open. And when you're in the action browser, big reminder, always click apply changes, which I do. And then I'm going to store the audio right in this Flipchart so that if I ever deleted that audio file, I could still play it out of this Flipchart. I click OK. So I hover over it. You can see that blue thing icon indicates that there's an action associated with it. And it starts to play the song. And I can go up here to stop the song, or I can do that on my sound controller. All right, lastly, I'm going to go to a blank page because I should mention 2 other things about sounds or where you can get them. If you go to your resource browser and you clicked on the 3-person silhouette, one of the folders in here should be called Shared Sounds. And I'm going to look for it. There it is. If I click on the triangle next to it, I can see the subfolders. And there's a bunch of different songs and sounds and various different things you may want to look through. So if you are just absolutely wanting to embed into your Flipchart some explosions, well, you can hover over these things and you can find yourself some good old explosions just with a drag and a drop, and you can get it on your page. So, oh yes, there may be a reason you could use that. Very last thing, this is getting to be a very long video. You can go under your tools, and if you have a special talent or you have something very specified that you want to put on your Flipchart page, you can go to more tools to the sound recorder, because you can really record your own sounds on a Flipchart page. So let me share with you my special talent. I'm going to click on the red button to start recording. ZYXWVUTSRQPOMNLKJIHGFEDCBA. Now I know it. Z2A. I click the stop button, and lo and behold, right here on my page, I'm going to move it to the beginning, I'm to the middle. I have a sound icon. I click on it. And I have forever captured my talent in my Flipchart page. Hope you enjoy embedding sounds in your Flipcharts.